Hey guys, it's Rich here from the Rich Mix, and I'm really excited for our special guest, Talina Johnson, a good friend of mine. We've known each other for many years, I think nearly 15 years now. It's been a long time
Yeah.
back in the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And welcome to the Rich Mix. Welcome to my
Thank you.
party.
Thank you for having
And
me.
no worries. Thanks for coming on board. And so let's start with your origin. It's all right. So I know we've known each other for a long time, but so welcome. And let's rewind. And what
Mhm.
sparked your journey into aesthetics and permanent makeup? How did you get into this fashion
Uh,
industry?
Actually, it's quite interesting because, first of all, it goes back to when I was a little girl.
Yeah,
Um, a tattooist used to come to town and do all the mums' eyeliners because back
yeah,
then, obviously, eyebrows weren't a thing. They were plucking them all out. And I
yeah,
remember thinking, I can't wait till I grow up and get that done, like
yeah,
that
yeah,
tattooed eyeliner. So the first thing I did when I was 18 was I got my eyeliners tattooed, which was a disaster. We won't even go there. Um, she tattooed one side really low and the other side straight across. I was like traumatized.
yeah,
But then I was studying nursing at uni
yeah,
and I wanted to be a cosmetic injector. So I always
yeah, yeah,
wanted to be in the industry. And they were teaching us how to clean male private parts on a
yeah.
dummy. And I just went,
What a
I
way to
can't do
be.
this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I can't do this. And at the same time, I was getting my eyeliner touch up and top up. And the chick that was doing it at the time was beautiful and cool. And I
yeah,
just thought,
yeah,
what a cool job.
yeah,
And
yeah.
literally that weekend, I looked into the training and I dropped out of uni and I never looked back.
So, and then if you go back a little bit, were you a bit more of a into that as a growing up as a girl, or you were more of a tomboy?
I was the biggest tomboy. I
Yeah.
was the biggest tomboy. Yeah. I actually didn't even notice that I was a girl until all the boys teased me for not having a willy when we were kids, skinny
Yeah.
dipping.
And because you were brought up in a country town,
Yep.
pretty much. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And
By my dad. Yeah. No
yeah.
makeup.
So a bit of a country girl. So it's very different to where back, if you're looking back in the day and you're growing
Yes.
up to where you are now in a city, Sydney
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
pretty crazy. But so yeah, like did you always want to run your own business, but or you want to just work in the industry or
I
something?
just you know what, I kind of fell into the business running side of things
Yeah.
out of like survival. I just so desperately wanted to be really good at the cosmetic tattooing.
Yeah.
And I was so obsessed and I just kept trying. And the more I tried, the more success slowly
Yeah.
came to me. I had to learn
Yeah.
everything the hard way, of course.
Yeah.
But it just, because I don't know how to stop. I have
Yeah.
obsessive compulsive disorder, like
Yeah.
medically
Yeah.
diagnosed. So
Yeah.
I don't know how to stop.
Yeah.
So the more I tried, the more successful, I got.
And it's
And
not
it,
just that, you're a hard worker, like I know you. You
thank
you
you.
don't stop because you're a perfectionist and want it done right, from day dot. So
Yes.
and that's
Yes.
where it all comes down to. So it did
Yeah.
happen. You really put a lot of grit into it, and I
Yeah.
think that's what's lacking these days is that grit,
Yes.
into anything. People are just a bit fluffy around things, and you really put it's paid off because you've put in so much hard work, and I've seen that over the years and what you do. So it's pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah,
Um,
it's a combination between obsession and desperation.
yeah, yeah, I know, man. I know where you're coming from. So, what was your like biggest aha moment that led you into like launching Future Aesthetica?
You know what's interesting? I never told you this, Rich, but it was kind of a little bit you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was doing my infection control training at your course.
yeah,
And I just loved everything about how you were delivering the training and you had us all really engaged for such a boring course. You made it very interesting. And yeah, it was a great course. And anyway, I remember back then thinking how much I wanted to change the way training was delivered.
yeah,
Because back then it was like a 3-day course, you learned brows, lips, and eyes all in
yeah,
one, and there was but yeah, I remember you saying like you wanted to start doing the cosmetic tattooing, and I was really excited about it. And you said to me, "Get your trainer and assessor, and you
yeah,
can
yeah.
come train for us." So I got my trainer and assessor, but then it was just like all this other stuff sort
Oh
of
yeah.
unrolled, you know. Mm.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah, you were
really
a big part of that.
awesome. No, thanks. And
Mm.
but yeah, so my rejuvenate. So where did that name come from? Like from my
Oh,
rejuvenate to cosmetic aesthetics, you know?
yeah, it's just interesting because I remember, I don't know, I had some advice somewhere along the lines of, your business name should be more about the outcome rather
Yeah,
than what you're doing.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you don't want to call it Tattoo Brows
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Australia or
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah,
It should be Feeling Great Australia.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I don't know. And I thought of my Rejuvenate because I thought of, well, when you go to my doctor, my podiatrist, my
yeah,
nail lady,
yeah,
so my Rejuvenate. So it
yeah,
just kind
yeah,
of came
yeah.
together. Yeah, I
And
was kicking myself about a year in. I thought, why didn't I say my Rejuvenation?
yeah, yeah. Doesn't matter. That could be another thing, you know?
Yeah,
Maybe like a
yeah.
spa treatment, other thing for that.
Yes,
So
yeah, there
like,
you go.
so currently, like, obviously, it's a pretty saturated industry.
Yeah,
Such a small population in Australia, and literally only like the top guys are in the top, and you've got to really work hard to be there.
yeah.
So have you kept my rejuvenate positioned in that premium and trusted position?
Yeah, so just consistently,
Yeah,
uh, I guess sticking to our values, and
yeah,
that is about more about the customer service. So it's not that we're doing the best work, it's that we're trying to
yeah,
look after our clients the best.
yeah,
So if something, there's nothing that we won't do for our clients, you know what I
yeah,
mean? That we really put them on a pedestal and make sure that we are delivering the best possible results
yeah,
and following through the journey. So
yeah,
I guess it's a lot to do with that. And yeah, just always sticking to our core values.
yeah. No, no, awesome. And what I love about, I've been to your premises a fair few times, and I've had training by you as well, is
Yeah.
that the customer service, it oozes. Everyone's always smiling, everyone's always happy, and but they know what they got to do, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I see that it's not, people are just not faking it. They're actually
Yeah.
really genuine, really want to help, and I think
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. I love that about
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. That's it. That's what I mean by the values. Like for
Yeah,
me, it's always been about the results and then the money just sort of comes. It was never about the money, it was about the results and about the
yeah,
client.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you've had challenges, like obviously running a retail business, running a people business. There's
Yep.
always people that come and go. And has that been tough for you?
Yeah, it has been very tough actually. I went through
Yeah,
a period where I thought I was going to have to close my doors,
yeah,
when the economy changed because I had set things up for growth.
yeah,
Because at one point we exploded. We were so busy, I couldn't keep up. I couldn't
yeah,
hire enough tattooers and enough
yeah,
therapists and
yeah,
just hired all these people. And then the economy changed and I didn't restructure
yeah,
fast enough.
yeah,
So, we're kind of yeah, we went through a very, very difficult period, and I didn't understand even how to manage that
yeah,
because it was my first time going through a financial downturn.
yeah,
But yeah, I kind of just had to, I guess, start from scratch and rebuild myself.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
downsize
adapt,
and
isn't
and
it?
build up.
Like,
Yeah, adapt.
yeah,
Yeah,
and that's a big thing. I think if we look at even what's happening around the world in the wars, the economy, elections, the cost
yes,
of living, like for
yes,
standard people on just on wages these days, it is really, really tough. And for them
yes,
to get their eyebrows done or even gym membership or anything that's outside
yeah,
the norm of food and mortgage is really hard these days. It is
y-
really, really tough.
yeah. That's right.
Um,
That's right.
and so our
And
business has to adapt. Yeah.
Yeah, it does, and I never adapted quick enough, so I nearly lost absolutely everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, things are good now. And one of the things that I think has been an advantage for us is just diversifying our treatment offerings as well.
Yeah.
And we also have with our tattooing, we've kind of got our premium services, which is most of it, but we've also with our academy, we've got that more affordable service,
Yeah.
which is done by our student artists and our
Yeah.
beginners. But we people know that they're guaranteed that I'm going to care enough,
Yeah.
regardless of whether it's done by my student or by me. So,
Yeah.
we cater to all the economic
Yeah. Yeah. So it's affordable.
tiers.
So it doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah.
There's obviously a procedure for you that you can afford to do.
Yeah.
Not get
Yeah.
left out. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's
So that's
cool.
that's been a little advantage point for us.
Yeah. So let's talk about now Future Aesthetica. Where that
Yeah.
crazy name came from. When I think about it, it's like It's like some type of Star Trek training academy, for skin.
That's what I was going for. I was like, I wanted to be part of the future, like
Yeah, yeah,
an individual that we train.
yeah,
It's all about their future goals, their future career,
yeah,
being with them now and for the future. Like all my students that I've had, and I've got, I think, hundreds,
yeah,
I've still maintained really good relationships and good friendships with, like, it's not just a one night stand, it's the
yeah, yeah,
future.
yeah. That is, it is
And
their lifetime.
yeah,
Long,
yeah, I get really attached.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm the same.
Yeah.
And I'm
Mm.
always like, who's this crazy bugger that sent me a message on Facebook? And I remember that person I trained like 20 years ago or something, what I mean? Which is
Yes.
really cool. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, no,
It,
I think it's awesome. Now,
yeah.
so tell us about it. So it's specifically focused on PMU education,
Yep.
and how long you've had the academy side of it now for?
Well, I've had the academy since 2017, but
Yeah,
it was always under my Rejuvenate, and
yeah,
then we just rebranded maybe 2000 I think it might have been 2021
yeah,
as Future Aesthetica, because I
yeah,
needed to
yeah,
separate
yeah,
it because I had two completely different audiences.
yeah,
You don't
yeah,
want to talk to your customer service clients
yeah.
about problems that artists
Yeah,
have,
yeah, yeah,
things
yeah.
like
No,
that.
100%. And I remember that time. I don't know if you want to talk about it. You were looking at expanding into it like a bigger premises at the
Oh
time,
yeah, starts
and
rocking and holding
I was
myself.
like, oh my god, the stress of it all. And I know that was such a challenging time of getting
Yeah.
approvals and getting built and money going
Mm,
into it, and
Tens of thousands, yes.
yeah, and then
Gone.
gone, yeah,
Yeah.
and that is the
Yeah.
hardest thing about expansion is like the cost is sometimes it's like you don't know how much you're going to spend. You don't know, what I mean?
Yep.
There's no end loop in it or where you're going to find out when you get
Yeah.
in it, and that was obviously a challenging time for Future Aesthetica at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It was awful, actually. But it all worked out, like, I guess, as it should. I feel like the universe looks after me and my affirmations.
yeah,
Like, we blew a lot of money
yeah,
on getting everything into place, but it was the builder of the building that went
yeah,
into administration
yeah,
while we couldn't
crazy.
open.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it wasn't even about anything to do with us. We did all the
yeah,
right things.
yeah,
But had we opened our doors when we were supposed to, and then the economy did that flip turn, I definitely would have gone broke because I would not
yeah.
have been able to afford
The
double
two double
overheads.
rents. Yeah, yeah,
You
and
know what I mean? Like, as it was, I had to reinvest all of my life savings just into survival here
yeah, yeah,
during that
and it kind of
time.
worked out
So,
well in that sense.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, no, awesome. And so now, obviously, the original space we've expanded into it a little bit more. So you've got training there, but the
yeah,
thing about training, you can train anywhere. You know what I mean? Like you can always
yeah, that's
got a
true.
bigger class. We can just find a bigger space. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Uh,
when you came and trained with us,
yeah,
I had hired the down
yeah,
the
yeah,
downstairs floor at the hairdressers
yeah,
next
yeah,
door, that big
yeah. That was
heritage
pretty
building.
cool. Yeah,
It was cool, except for the dryers and the washing machines in the background and the place
yeah,
smelling like a laundromat, but it was otherwise super
yeah.
cool.
No, it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. So
Yeah. So
let's talk a
yeah.
little bit about now. Obviously, your balance and teaching, like your technical skill, and a lot of this stuff. And I know you are very passionate about
Yeah.
manifestation mindset.
Yes.
Um, is really important, and having that drive because before you do any of this stuff, you need to rev yourself up. You know what I mean? You got to have the
Yeah.
right fuel in you, in your body and your mind to keep on going. And especially running
Yeah.
a training academy, doing a lot of things online. Now we're in this kind of weird space that you got to do what we're doing right now. Go to seminars. You spoke at AppMac last year, which was awesome. And yeah, so there's a lot of exciting things still ahead for you. How do you
Yeah.
really keep fueled up for it all the time?
Well, this is vodka.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
cool. Right, yeah.
no, kidding. That's coffee. No, well, I guess it goes back to having the obsessive mind that helps
Yeah,
because I don't find it stressful that it follows me all through my personal life and
yeah,
every waking moment. Like, I don't
yeah,
find that stressful, whereas most people would.
yeah,
So there's that. And then I just been very systemized. I'm a really
Yep.
systemized and organized person.
Yep.
So not to say that everything isn't like a bit of a clusterfuck, and I do.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
I do have a lot of people like going, "Hey, you said you were going to text me back," or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm fairly organized and systemized.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Now, now let's still talk about a little bit of training as well. Have you had like seen like a shift in the types of students that are coming enrolling at the moment? Are they being
Yeah,
younger, older? People are going through like one financial independence, want to change of path, want to do something completely different.
yeah.
What's your typical student?
Yeah, I love this question because we absolutely have everybody.
Yeah,
I don't even have one typical student, but I do see a lot of successful trainers
yeah,
tell stories about I was a high school dropout, this, that, and the other. So it's good in that respect, and I love those stories. But there's also a lot of individuals that are coming to me that have law degrees, MBAs, working in banking. Like there's a lot of really successful, high functioning business people that
yeah,
just want to change. They want to pivot. They want to do something creative. They want to do something that they can get obsessed with and
yeah,
enjoy. So it's all walks. And then, I have some other amazing students that, just couldn't get through school, a lot of neurodivergent
yeah,
students.
yeah,
I almost think it's a prerequisite to sort of have some sort of
yeah, yeah,
neurodivergence or
yeah,
obsessive.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So we
no,
get
that's
all the
awesome.
walks, even a lot
Yeah,
of like really mature aged
yeah,
people,
yeah,
in their 50s and 60s, just wanting to
yeah,
start something different.
yeah. Well, like
Yeah.
me, I'm still always like, I want to do something different. No, no.
Yeah.
I think it's yeah, we've all gone through this. Like I know I was in a completely different industry in my, all the way up to my 30s in a way. And
Yeah. Yeah.
to, yeah,
Same.
yeah, and it's just like all of a sudden you're doing something again different, and it's always good. You get this itch, and sometimes you do something different within that still niche, which we're
Yep.
always doing anyway. So I think
Yep.
it's pretty cool. So now running obviously two brands, and mentoring others, I think probably the key thing is building a legacy. How do you
Mm.
manage it all yourself? Do you have downtime?
Uh, no, I don't have downtime. No,
Yeah,
never.
yeah,
But I do. I think, I guess because I just don't have a choice.
yeah,
Like I
yeah,
have to.
yeah, yeah,
There's no other way. Like
yeah,
it's one of those things like
yeah.
parenting.
I know. Well, as the thing, being a mum as well, kids, all this stuff, it's pretty hectic,
Yeah.
nonstop. So the minute,
Yeah.
you get out of work and it's been a crazy day, then you're like, oh my God, do baths and dinner and like, all
Yes.
this stuff as well, the
Yes.
normality that
Yeah.
hits you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
But I am lucky because one, I've got a very good team.
yeah,
Like I really love my team. And I also have a really good husband.
yeah, no, awesome.
So, he's an equal parent with our children. It's not
Yeah,
like I have to micromanage or instruct him on how to parent our children. It's just like,
yeah,
we got this.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
awesome. And he's an awesome
mm.
builder as well.
Yes, he
Yeah,
is.
he's
He
built.
did this
Yeah,
place.
his
Got
work
me
is right
pregnant
behind
from
you.
all the thank yous.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, awesome. And yeah, so I think so what's the next 5 years look for you at Future Aesthetica and Why Rejuvenate?
I would really like to see growth in my beginner training programs.
Yeah, yeah,
And not just my programs, but I want to see other trainers start to pivot how training is delivered into
yeah,
more mentorship
yeah, yeah,
rather than, 3-day, 4-day courses.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
have noticed that there is a change in what students are looking for as well. Like they're starting to understand that it is more than just something that you learn. Like it's a skill that you need to develop. Like going to the gym, you can't go to the gym and say, I want this amazing body in 3 days.
Oh,
It
100%.
requires dedication and it requires a program. And so we need to be offering that kind of training. And that's what I do. And I
Yeah,
love it. And I'm so excited about it. And I just want to
yeah,
see more people jump into my program and
yeah,
get these
yeah,
amazing results that I know that I can and
yeah,
help them get.
yeah, yeah. No, that's fantastic.
So
And I think, yeah, and I think the beginners, um, they're actually the most exciting students. You know what I mean? As
yeah,
well.
yeah. Like I get so many little teary, proud mummy moments, when I see their skills transform from, oh my God, I can't do this. What have I done? I've wasted all my money to, oh my God, I love this. This is amazing. I'm so excited. I'm so happy.
Yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
happy I found this. I'm so happy I found you.
Oh,
So
that's
it's
awesome.
beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Now, going back to business is
Mm.
a few other things. What are the most like some like powerful lessons that you've learned, specifically in leadership? In this industry and working with staff. What's something that really helps you inspire them?
Um, oh, I'm still learning so
Yeah,
much. And a big part of the problem is in my position is that you can have this passion and these skills, these amazing skills, and then it doesn't mean that you know how to have a business. You have to learn all of that. Like you have to
yeah,
wear so many hats.
yeah,
And in a managerial position, your team look to you as if you've always been a manager.
yeah,
Same
yeah.
as parenting,
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
your kids think you've always been a parent and you have to be perfect and you can't
Oh,
make mistakes.
oh my gosh, I know. And then you're like
But
screaming your head off.
yeah, and a lot of us are so a lot of us are just learning as we go. So I think in our position, when you take on that business owner, put on that business owner hat, you should really look for guidance and education
Yeah,
wherever you can and
yeah,
mentorship yourself.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
training programs, like I've done a lot of entrepreneurial training as well, and
yeah,
I know you guys,
yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah,
a lot of business training and
yeah,
entrepreneurial stuff and books. Don't you have a
yeah.
book?
I've got a few books, yes. And you know what?
Give
I
us.
actually love it. I love learning stuff. And I think in my downtime, I'm always doing some type of, personal development, always. If it's not
Yes.
about digital
Yeah.
marketing or something, it's always something. I feel like you have to keep on learning because the world is moving so fast in not just this industry,
Yeah.
but just in general, the way we do business. You got to adapt. If you don't adapt, you die. It's simple as that.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
and
Which
I
is why
noticed,
it's good that we have you as a resource
yeah,
and your
yeah.
resources.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, and that's why I think we're going to potentially do a training session in your space there, with talking to a lot of business owners, and so I'm excited
Mm.
to deliver that kind of training in a day workshop, which is going to be super cool. You know,
It is, yeah, I'm
um,
ready for it.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a massive need for it because, as
yeah,
I said, we're all these amazing artists, and then we're
yeah.
like, I don't know how to run a business.
Oh,
So,
100%. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
and just the
having
basics.
someone with, yes,
Yeah,
and having someone with your skills and everything that you've brought together and all the tens of thousands that you've spent.
no, no. But well, I've
um,
spent and I think it's just time, like a lot of stuff
yeah,
you get online, which is free. If you're watching the right podcast, watching the right interviews, you just learn, you pick up things. I honestly,
yeah,
I might watch something for free on YouTube, and I picked up more on that than I paid like 2 grand to a seminar for a day and got nothing out of it except
yeah,
just people, you know, being show ponies in a way. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
and not really getting things out of it. And I think so sometimes you don't realize where you get it from in certain
yeah.
conversations, listening, and you just gotta and and I notice, and you're probably the same, as we are getting older with families, we're not mixing it up with other people. We don't have like crazy social lives. It's family
No.
and work and personal development. They're the only things you're really doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, your focus changes.
Yeah, 100%. So what does like empowerment mean to you in especially when it comes to the women you train or treat, like in this industry?
Yeah.
A lot of them are a lot of women.
Independence.
Yeah,
Yeah, independence. I'm actually reading this book called The Five Types of Wealth, and it's so
yeah,
cool because it actually talks about different types of wealth in sense of like your freedom to manage your own time,
yeah,
and appreciate your time as well, rather than just running on stress or running on other people's schedules. Like, yes, I am always working, but it's my choice.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? So,
yeah,
and just there's even a story in that book about like this 95-year-old billionaire, and he says, he would trade places with a broke 20 something year old any day because he's got time. That 20-year-old has time, and you
yeah,
can't
yeah,
buy that.
yeah,
So that's what empowerment is I think having that independence and
yeah,
the ability to manage your own time.
Yeah, 100%. And
Yeah.
I see
Mm.
that now, being like at my age, in my mid 50s, but and having young little kids. And what I really love, I think the biggest joy to my life is just before this, even walking Lola to school in the mornings
Yeah,
and
yeah,
picking her up, having the time to do that. Where unfortunately,
yeah,
my parents, when I was young, never had that chance because my dad was doing two
yeah.
jobs, mum's working till late, you know,
Yep.
and I just enjoy it. I just love her crazy stories on the way home,
Yeah, yeah.
about the other kids. It's really cool. And I think it
And
is
it
about
makes your
time.
heart so
Oh,
full. It
100%.
just makes you feel good, and you're like, this
Yeah.
is what I'm
Yeah.
doing it for.
Yeah. No, I actually really enjoy it, It really makes me.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And so many parents have to rush through that,
yeah, it's
come
always
on, we're
rush.
late. I've got to get to
Yeah, yeah,
work.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's a shame. And
yeah,
it's nice if you have that time. That's so beautiful and
yeah.
precious if you can, whether it's a kid or a pet
Yeah,
or a
100%.
friend
You
or
know
a
what I don't
coffee,
like now is every time I want to hug
Mm.
them, I'm like, Lola, come give me a hug. No, I don't want to hug you. It's like they're just getting a bit too old. They're getting growing up so quick, even though she's only 6.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like a
yeah. Oh,
little,
well, that's comforting to know
so
because my
cute.
daughter's the same. I'm not allowed to
Yeah,
kiss her. Gems.
So what like mindset shifts do you believe are essential for someone to go from technician to thriving business owner? You know?
I think it's more about a lot of us, a lot of people sort of sit there and wait for all the information and the skills to come to
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
You've got to be obsessed and you've got to go past. You've got to go
yeah,
past what is given to you and you got to look for more and you got to
yeah,
research more and train more and practice all the time. You've got to be obsessed, not
yeah,
sort
yeah.
of sit there and wait for
Paid for it to come to
it to
you.
come to you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because a lot of academies, market how much money you're going to make. So
yeah,
people are like, yes, I'm going to make all this money. Why aren't I making it yet?
yeah,
Because you've got to work for it and you've
yeah.
got to do all these different things. So
Uh,
that's the biggest shift, I think.
and that's what things I talk about with a lot of business owners is they think that, oh, I'll get a great, really flashy website. I'll look really
Yeah.
cool, get a really good shop, and people are just going to walk in. And I'm like, no, man,
Yeah.
it's not going to walk
Yeah.
in. You got to do heaps of
Yeah.
other shit in the middle,
Yeah.
to get people to
Yep.
come in. And then
Yep.
when they come in, you got to get them to come back again, you know,
Yes.
and
Yes.
and they forget about
Yeah.
that, And I see that with a lot of the big corporations and franchisees I've been talking to, uh,
Yeah.
with some of their staff. They just forget. They think sometimes a brand is going to bring people in. No, man, you got to
Yeah.
keep on
Yeah.
working at it. Doesn't matter how great your brand is,
Yeah, I thought that too when I started tattooing.
Yeah,
I actually paid someone to build a website, and I thought that's it now. Everyone's going to find me.
yeah, yeah. That's it.
I said, wow, did I have a lot to learn?
I know it's crazy. I always say, why does Pepsi keep on advertising and Coke keep on advertising? Because they still have to keep on doing it. Everyone's buying their stuff,
Yeah,
but they still got to do it, and you got to keep on at it all the
absolutely.
time.
Mm,
Because one day
mm,
someone else will just come in and take
mm,
it out
mm.
right under your feet. So,
Yeah, otherwise you'll end
um,
up like Blockbuster.
yeah, I know.
Nobody needs you anymore.
So, what piece of advice you'd give your younger self, or to a woman standing in the edge of starting her PMU career?
Oh wow. Um, the advice I would give myself, oh my God. Well, I would say it would be hard to give myself the advice I need because it wasn't available back then what I
Yeah,
needed. There you
yeah,
go. So,
and that's the thing. Yeah,
um,
yeah,
yeah, like to choose better training that offered more mentoring,
yeah,
and more of a training program, but that just didn't exist back then.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it'd be hard
And
for
that's
me
what
to give that advice.
I feel now is you can always learn a skill, but you need to be like someone has to handhold you, help you, what I mean, through that as well,
Yeah,
through a process, because
yeah,
you just can't. And I find young kids these days, and we all know, they just, we talked about that earlier about that grit, you know what I mean, that hard work.
yeah,
They just sometimes feel that everything's going to come to them, and they got to go, mate. You got to work hard. You got to really,
yeah,
talk to people. No texting,
yeah,
no messaging. Ring people, talk to people, more conversations, build your
Yeah.
circles out with the people that know shit. You know what I mean? Hang around the people that know shit. That's what you got to do, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Big time.
yeah, if
Hmm.
you hang around with bullheads, you're going to be a bullhead. I always tell people that.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is,
Yeah.
you know, the
It's
way of the
true.
world. So,
I must admit that in my early days of tattooing, when I was doing so much floundering and there
yeah,
wasn't any support networks, there wasn't any forums, there weren't any online courses, nothing like that. This is going back like 13 years ago. But we had our association and we had a strong network of other tattooists, and
yeah,
they were the most generous, kindest. And I remember every one of them to this day
yeah, yeah,
that reached out with kindness or spent time to teach me and help me. And we were just such a supportive group, like
sure,
a
yeah,
network.
yeah.
And that was really good. That was my saving grace back then.
Yeah, it was because they
Yeah.
were really. I remember a lot of those ladies from Paula and all that. You know, they were
Yeah,
awesome
yeah.
and still are legends in the industry, and I love
Yes.
gasbagging with them as well. So it's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I love seeing them at the events and the seminars. And that's probably also advice that I would give new artists,
yeah,
is to connect as much as possible with other artists and go to all the events.
yeah,
I know that we have access to the online courses, but you don't know what you don't know.
yeah, yeah,
And you're only going to find out what you don't know when
yeah,
you go amongst it all and
yeah,
start rubbing shoulders with all these people and be inspired and learning. So
yeah. And
that would
meeting all
be.
these crazy, wacky people. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
that's what I love about it because everyone is so different. The outcome's always the same, but I just love
yeah,
meeting different personalities in the industry.
yeah.
You know,
Same.
I really love the events. Um, Has there been anything in the industry that, like, as a whole, that you'd want to be improved? I know mentoring is one, but what else that we
Yeah.
want to improve
Um,
the industry, especially in training and education?
oh well, yeah, I think the biggest one is the mentoring
Yeah,
and the in-person training and the strategy behind training.
yeah,
So rather than like my students, if they're going to turn up for their first 3 days, there's a lot
yeah,
of pre-learning before that, and there's a lot of
yeah,
touch points, and then they come in, they do their skills mastery, and then they practice that for a month. Then they come back and then they work on the models
yeah,
together. So there's
yeah,
a lot of strategy around that.
yeah, yeah,
And I think that's what we need more of.
yeah,
And I see a lot of artists that are seen, like a lot of artists that are still microblading.
yeah.
Um, Now, some of them are amazing and great and not damaging their clients, but a lot of them
90%.
aren't.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
90% are.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and the ones that are still microblading and they know they're seeing it, they're going, oh no, I'm getting scarring, I'm getting this, I'm getting that, but they're still doing it
Mm.
because they're unable to take the time or spend the money on change. But you have to, like,
Yeah,
we need to care more in that respect and
yeah,
take accountability for
yeah.
what we're doing to
Yeah,
our
I understand.
clients
And the
long term.
craziest thing, and we can go back to this, there are so many really teeny short courses where
Mm,
they doing like microblading, but they've got zero underpinning skills in skin, but
yeah,
anything, and you just can't just do that one thing and not know
yep,
how you're doing it, what the effects are, the repercussions, what damage, understanding all the different types of skin. They got no
yeah,
idea ages, what I mean?
yeah,
Different ages and
yep,
skin, all that stuff. They don't know. They never taught
yeah,
that.
exactly.
They just learn a
Yeah,
skill. Like it's like, you know, learning to draw without tattooing yet, or what I mean? I don't know. It's
yeah,
just,
badly.
understanding skin is so important. You need a lot of practice,
Yes,
a lot of skill,
yep,
and I think a lot of people that have a beauty background, it's a bit of an easier pathway for them. You know?
yeah, 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 definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no, awesome. All right, now this is the most important question. What is your
Okay.
favorite karaoke song? Your go-to karaoke song?
Sweet Dreams by Marilyn Manson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Uh,
Or Gangster's Paradise, because
oh
I
yeah,
just
old
know
school.
all
The
the
cool,
words
the
off by
coolio.
heart. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's hard to hit like a good note in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
song.
yeah, yeah,
It's more about the fun of belting it out, but Sweet Dreams, I can get the good notes.
yeah. Okay, awesome. That was a good one. Yeah,
Yeah, what's yours?
mine's Islands in the Stream. Dolly Parton and
It's,
Kenny Rogers.
oh,
And I
wow.
love that song. My God, it's so cool. Everything
Wow.
comes
Oh,
on. Oh, Sweet Caroline. Neil Diamond is
Sweet
pretty cool. Yeah, yeah.
Caroline.
Look at that blasting in the
Ah.
car sometimes, you know.
It reminds me of being a kid having to sleep under the table at the
I
pub
know it
while
is
my
that
parents
mum
are
and dad.
still partying.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. And trying to sneak off one of their little drinks, you know, their beer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now finally, how can people connect with you? We're obviously gonna on this potty, we're gonna have the links of
Yes. Yeah.
you can go to book in with you for training as well as getting a treatment. So I'll have it. So yeah, is it quite easy? Just we can just click on the link and
Yeah,
just book
yeah,
it online.
really easy. Yep,
Yeah,
book in online or book a chat
yeah,
or text, and we can have a chat. Because obviously there's, a lot of information before you book something that is such a big investment of time and money.
yeah,
So I do think it's a good idea to peruse all the information and then just book a chat.
yeah. Awesome, well, fantastic. You know what? It's been a
Yeah,
pleasure talking to you, Talina, as always. And I think there's still a lot more to talk about. I think we'll have to do another
yeah,
one, a part two.
yeah,
What do you
yeah, we
reckon?
will.
And
Let's
we
do
can
it.
dive in deeper in other stuff, business wise, and
Yep.
personal development stuff. I think that would be really cool. You know?
Yeah, I love that plan. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Awesome.
All
You're a
right.
legend. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining me
you.
today. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure everyone listening is going to really love listening to you and some of the words of wisdom that you offer all the time. But yeah, I'm really excited. And I can't wait to chat again.
Thanks, Rich. You're a
Uh,
legend. Thank
oh
you.
no, you are too. You are too. Come on.
Yeah. All right, I'll catch you.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. I'll
Bye.
talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right. Bye.